in high school and in college, where these basketball teams create their own schedule each season, a lot of these power teams, they sprinkle in these easy opponents, these teams that they're just going to crush because it's going to build the confidence. It's a chicken soup game where in the middle of the season, a lot of times in the beginning of the season, they want to build the confidence of their team and you sprinkle them in. You don't want to have too many of them, right? Because then you have a false sense of reality. And the Warriors playing the Spurs last night was just the perfect time for a chicken soup game, a game to make you feel good, a game that makes them feel good, more importantly. Now, I turned on the tape this morning and I'm looking at San Antonio's defense. You want to talk about a vanilla defense? They legitimately played Steph straight up. You know, they put young Stephon Castle on him, but they're in the screen actions, they showed and recovered and they were like, hey, get over the top. But, you know, the game, Steph didn't have to do much. It was the perfect light work for Steph Curry last night. But my point being, San Antonio, they sit, I think, 7th or 8th in the lottery slot right now. They're not very incentivized to move up or down. I guess if they won a bunch, they might move back, but they're kind of stuck in that spot with Toronto. And they were looking real tankish last night against the Warriors. The way they were defended, it almost made me feel like Kerr called in a favor to Pop. Like, hey, don't give us a hard time tonight. You know, like we need some chicken soup. We know you guys, you know, Spurs culture and you're going to hustle and at least put up some resistance that you typically get from San Antonio. There was none of that last night. There was none of that, right? No, more realistically, they had played the Celtics the night before and Saturday night at home, a young team. For whatever reason, the Spurs didn't put up any fight last night. And it was a point in the season, it was a perfect time for a Warrior game like that in the middle of this long road trip where we've been in a shooting slump and guys got to see the ball go into the basket, right? Pods, 7 threes, just went crazy in that third quarter. And I stay to this point. When Pods is shooting the ball well, he leaves his release. He has that snake bite release at times. And when you see the snake bite from Pods, usually means he's a little bit sped up and the shot's not in rhythm. You know what cracked me up though about that sunburn? It's so funny because I can speak to this being the lightest skinned dude around usually within my family and being out and about is like, no one's really tripping off sunscreen as much, you know? And then Pods is out with Trace and the fellas wherever they're in New Orleans and no one's like, you know, putting the SPF on. And Pods paid the cost, right? He was the red-faced demon last night, man. But he, and maybe more even importantly, was Moses Moody shooting the ball well from the perimeter. And so sometimes throughout a season, you get a game like that and it's almost disappointing. You're like, this is like 3/4 of garbage time. Not last night. I think you can agree with me. It was like, the Warriors needed this one, right? They needed this one at this time. Now, Jonathan Kuminga. Because it was, again, an opportunity for him to maybe have, you know, a 25-point night and get a rhythm and start to feel good about himself. Goes down and eerily similar to the way Steph went down a week or two ago, where his legs out in front of him, lands on the tailbone. And that's, I think, what we all assumed, like, oh, no, another tailbone injury? Like what's going on? Second half starts and they say, no, it's right ankle soreness again. And obviously doing the breakdown this morning, and the link will be in the description. I look at the tape and yeah, you can see it. You can see it because his legs fall out in front of him and he keeps his knees locked so that the right leg hits the ground first and the ankle and the foot wears the impact because there's no bend at the knee. It wasn't gruesome or anything. There wasn't any like real turnover or tweak, but you could see where the impact was on that previously injured right ankle. So there's no doubt in my mind that it is sore, right? And he did tweak it. And I know that this is a murky area when we start questioning injuries and things like that. But considering how long it took him to get back, you know, and all the context around Kuminga right now, I could see, again, if he misses this week of games with that ankle, it's like, dang, it's a terrible time for him. He's having a tough time. However, if they shut him down for the season, I'm going to start to question if Kuminga's soft. And there is nothing that he has shown me that would make me think he is. The way he carries himself, the way he plays, like where he came from, it's like, no way. There's no way, right? But soft in the sense of, is he one of these guys that only wants to play when he's 100%? And I get when you're 21, when you're 22 years old, you always feel 100% until you don't. As you age as an athlete, you start to realize, like, I'm never going to feel 100. You know, like I'm going to have tweaks and aches and pains and I got to play through them. Or, and maybe part of is with this contract hanging over his head, is his mindset like, I'm not going to go out there until I'm 100% because I don't want to hurt what I look like during this contract negotiation. Whatever the case may be, you hope that it heals up quickly and he's back on the floor. I know some of you are going to say, oh, well, look, Kuminga goes out and we win by 40, 50 points. You're completely removing the context of this game. They were going to win by 40 points, whether Kuminga played 35 minutes or no minutes. So don't do that, right? And don't get it twisted that I'm sitting here saying, like, just hear what I said. I'm not saying he is, but it's just becoming a weird situation here. And so you hope it takes, 48 hours, 72 hours, ice up the ankle, and he's like, all right, let's give it a go, But if they shut him down or there's this another extended period of time, questions are going to arise, at least in my eyes, right? Now, what else happened here? Kevin Knox comes in the fourth. Looney 3. First off, we have to talk about the Looney 3. I got to talk about Loon Dogs 3. They draw it up for him. He knocks it down. Where's it been all my life, Kevon? No, but, everything was dropping for them. And Kevin Knox plays the fourth quarter because, the bench was going to get emptied regardless, right? But you look, GP2 with this injured thumb and now Kuminga again. All of a sudden, it looks like Kevin Knox may actually get a real opportunity on the end of this rotation here. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if he fit better than Kuminga at this point right now. Not saying he's a better talent. He may fit better. One, the obvious reason is he shoots the three ball much better, right? And then what is he, maybe 25 years old? He's still so young as well. He is a lottery talent as well. He's at such a different spot in his career with how it's played out. I think he has a little more perspective on the league. And then this isn't a scenario here where they picked him up a couple weeks ago from some other G League affiliate or wherever he was off waivers. And they're like, oh yeah, welcome to the Warriors culture and system. He's been with the Warriors since June or July in Summer League, and he's been playing in Santa Cruz the entire season. So he has enough system familiarity, I think, where he knows where to go and what to do. And so you find the opportunity in misfortune. And if Kuminga is going to be out, GP2 is going to be out, Kevin Knox, this is your time. This may be your moment. You always hear these guys, the cliche, it's my moment, this is my time. Like, for whatever reason, the opportunity has somehow sprung up. Because when we sign him for the rest of the year, I think a lot of people were like, so what? When is he going to play, right? Well, here it is. So can Kevin Knox seize this opportunity down the stretch in crucial games, right? The Spurs, again, you're talking about them tanking and just having no fight last night. It's very unspur-like, obviously, right? But, the problem with young players and tanking for too long is they just create bad habits. And not only that, guys fall into roles that they shouldn't be in. You've got Jeremy Sohan, who thinks he's a point forward. It's like, what? Right? And Devin Vassell, who's a guy I've loved going back to Florida State, was a dog of a defender. He isn't one anymore. Because that's the environment he's been around now for 2-3 seasons of we're not really going to win and you're having too many games like last night where it becomes habitual and it kind of changes the course of the development of a young player. And so I think that is concerning for San Antonio. And I get it, like Fox, Wemby, at full health, we're maybe not having this discussion, but you have to be careful with young team and tanking too much. Now, before we talk about the standings and the seedings and what's ahead, Underdog. You guys know one of the best sponsorships that this channel has had for me long-term here, and it's a great way to support the channel. You can use the code Alchemy, and you can still get a 50% bonus on your first deposit up to 1,000 credits. Baseball has started. I can't give you baseball picks. I can't talk baseball because I'm an A's fan. So, I'm not going to talk about baseball. But if you follow baseball, they've got all sorts of promotions and bonuses right now, as well as we get ready for this playoff stretch. And there's going to be a ton of NBA playoff boosts and picks. So use the code Alchemy. The link's in the description. That's Underdog. Now, 8 games left. We've all been tracking Minnesota and the Clippers. You saw what happened in Minnesota last night. I thought that they would be able to pull that out, but no Cade, no head coach, and Minnesota ends up pulling it out after that. Let's not call it a brawl, but it was a melee. No, I don't know what it was. Dante, man, go on Twitter and look at the Pistons and Wolves fans going back and forth about that little squabble last night, and it's pure comedy. But Minnesota gets the win. Clippers lose against the Cavs, right? But the Memphis Grizzlies have thrown their name into the cap. Taylor Jenkins is gone. After I got over the initial shock, my first thought was like, well, this is Ja kind of finally flexing here. You've already heard rumors earlier in the season like, hey, Ja may be moved this summer. And it sounds like, okay, well, he doesn't like the offense. They're not running any ball screens. And Jenkins is out. But it's fishy business because it doesn't sound like Jenkins liked the offense either. So he's the scapegoat, whatever it is. You never see a team fire a coach with 10 games to go and they're in the playoffs. So they're leaking oil. And what are we, a game and a half behind them at this point? Not only do we play them Tuesday night in Memphis, they've got the Celtics the night before. They'll be on the back end of a back-to-back. And so there's a real possibility that we're sitting in the 5 seed come the end of Tuesday night. But the Clippers keep winning, the Wolves keep winning, and you look at this back-to-back with Denver and the Lakers, and very easily we could end up this Clippers game on the final regular season being a playoff game. Because as I've said before, and I think we all understand, with this older Warriors team, that week off, I know I've heard the train of thought of like, they're going to win one of these play-in games. If you're the 7-8, you get 2 opportunities, they're going to do it, right? It's not even, it's just having to do it that you don't want to have happen when you're an older team. So trying to get that week off and staying above that marker of the play-in is everything. And it may come down to that final game of the regular season against the Clippers, but there's a chance this week to actually gain some separation and feel somewhat comfortable. So you get this chicken soup game against the Spurs. Everything's dropping. Guys finding a rhythm and some confidence. And perhaps we're going to start to peak at just the right time. As always, hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.